So your journey, it's, been an interesting one. Any things that you feel like you really overcame in the process or learned along the way that you've taken with you?
I probably learned more and forgotten more than I, could even
Yeah.
start to tell you. I've learned about really great leadership.
Yeah.
I've learned about really bad leadership. And what I want to do is emulate all the good.
Sure.
And be able to provide that to my team. I think that's one of my biggest roles, is to make sure that they learn what a good leader looks like, sounds like, acts like. And I am so far from knowing that answer in its, entirety. I'm always learning, and I'm looking at other leaders to help me with that. I go to conferences to understand that.
Sure.
I'm reading.
You have a sign here on your computer. Leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. John F. Kennedy. Yeah.
And I really believe that. They
Yeah.
have to be interlocked. And so I'm not done learning everything there is to know about marketing, and I'm not done learning everything there is about leadership. And
Yeah.
those two,
They're both evolving. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So say a little bit more, though, about your approach to leadership.
So I believe that you really need to have extreme accountability built into your team.
Okay.
And so that's not about whether or not to micromanage. That's not the statement. The statement is you have to give your team enough room to be able to execute at 60%. Find out where the, holes are, and then have the next time be 80%, and really strive for ownership and acceleration, improvement, and destroy this perfectionism kind of mentality that, persists within most of us, especially the type A's.
Yeah.
I'm
a Virgo, so yeah, totally guilty.
Yeah. Saying this for a friend, right?
Yeah, exactly. I say excellence, not perfection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how can I help persuade that excellence instead of perfectionism? And it's a little bit of, a stepping stone towards having this ownership and accountability for their own project and not doing it all myself.
Totally. Yeah. So delegation, that's a problem with some leaders for sure.
Delegation is big, but then also, not micromanaging, because I would like it done a certain way. So maybe I have them mirror me for the first project, and then slowly, it's a look back and see a reflection of all they've done.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I agree.
It's really rewarding.
You can't, because I used to be that way too, a little bit of a control freak, to ask my husband, but you can't expect them to do it the same way. And if they're achieving similar and or better results, who cares how it was done? Who cares?
I end up learning so much more from them.
Yeah.
I wonder what I'm teaching them.
Yeah. Well, and when I do an org chart or talk about, I always say that I'm at the bottom and I'm there to just serve them up and help them get to where they want in their careers and block and tackle for them. So yeah, I'm always in that position, like, what really do I know at this point? Because you, as a leader in management, you are going away from your subject matter expertise, and most of your time is building and developing people.
Yep. Yeah. And I don't know if I really knew that back in the day.
No, I totally didn't know that.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. That's why, and I went through Women Unlimited, which we'll talk about in a little bit. This is where I learned this, is I went from individual contributor to manager, and you kind of have to let that go a little bit, your subject matter expertise, which is difficult.
It's true. And that's where my passion is. So that's where I have the most fun. But I think once I had kids, I look back and I said, what will my legacy be? Yeah. And it wasn't about like creating the best logo. It was like, what can I build into other people that they will get to carry forever? And if I can help them in their career or on their path, or, just a pit stop on their journey, then, I feel like that will be success.
Okay. So you have a lot of inspiration in your office. So any favorite books on leadership or people that you follow? I know you saw Simon Sinek.
I love Simon Sinek.
So it's funny because I'm trying to use the right language for myself. I almost wrote, I'm so jealous. And I'm like, no, I'm not jealous. I'm actually really happy for her. So I wrote, I'm happy for you. Because language is important, right? Words matter. So I was like, I'm not jealous. I'm so happy that she got to see him. Yeah.
Yeah, I was so anxiously awaiting getting to hear his wisdom.
Yeah.
And
was it amazing, you would think?
He's fantastic. Yeah. I mean, he talked about infinite versus finite.
Yeah. And I'm listening to that book right now.
That is really, really impactful. We've been reading the book Story Branding.
Okay.
And
I have not seen that one.
It's less about leadership, more about marketing.
But I like that. Yeah.
It's great. And Melinda Gates has a new book out that is just like, can't wait to get to it. It's
Okay.
more about women in leadership.
Okay. Okay. Did you read Lean In and get into that at all?
Yes, I
Yeah.
love my Brene Brown
Oh my
books
gosh, yes, I
too.
do love her. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Did you watch her Netflix special?
I did.
Yeah, she's really good. Yeah. And she uses humor really well, which I like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's not all self-deprecating. It just kind
No.
of like pokes fun that we're just all really people trying to do something, great.
Yeah.
And it's okay that it's not 100%.
Yeah. And so before I hit record, we were actually talking a little bit about authenticity and being yourself. And because you made a comment, if you don't mind me sharing, where you're like, I'm not even sure I should be on this podcast where we're talking about women doing amazing things. And I say, absolutely. But I think that's sort of part of your authenticity is like the humility that goes along with it. So
I think that's part of leadership too, though. Like you're just because you have a title doesn't mean that you're
totally.
great or that you
Yeah.
get to say whatever you want or have influence. It's not just granted. You have to
Yeah.
really earn that.
And that takes time, which I have trouble with because I want it immediately. But yeah, it takes time to earn trust. And yeah. And a lot of times when I take on a new team, they don't understand that I'm there for them. They're like, wait, why is she asking me these questions about where I want to go in my career? I'm suspicious. But that's how you should be as a leader.
And it's okay that some people want to stay in place.
Yeah.
And not everybody has the same career path or career ambition that I do. And that's something that I've had to kind of come to terms with that I didn't really fully understand before.
Yeah.
I think you and I actually
We did, yes.
found this out together, and it's been very recent in the past year where we found people that were just really content honing their skill and getting really good at what they're doing right now and don't want forward progression.
And you and I were like, wait, what? Hold on.
I didn't know there was such a thing.
Yeah, I was like, first of all, I wish I could have that, but no. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but that's why getting to know people on a personal level, I know that's sort of frowned upon, is important because
It
you need to
is.
know what motivates them, what drives them, what they care about.
And having a different sense of empathy for,
That's a
exactly
great
where
word,
they're
empathy.
coming from.
Yeah.
So I think relationships really matter.
Yeah.
You brought up the word relationship. It's not just understanding the personal side, but it's understanding, what motivates them, what makes them tick. And, if I look back at what tools I've used to succeed, a lot of it is really getting really good at marketing. And that goes without saying. You have to be really good at your job.
Sure. Yeah.
But the other part, which is even more impactful, is the relationship aspect and getting to know people, understanding what they're doing. Empathy, yes, but also like what makes a different department tick? What can you
Right.
do to help solve their problems? And then vice versa. You didn't even know that they were already doing something that could make your job that much easier.
Yeah.
And just having those conversations and opening up the doors, breaking down silos. Some of that sounds, kind of like, okay, passe or whatever.
No, finance has totally different business goals than marketing. And usually you're
Like
spending
opposite,
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. Right. And you become a cost center sometimes for marketing. And so you got to make sure you're aligned and understanding what's driving that business unit.
Yeah. And what's super interesting here is we're not just a cost center. We make the organization a nice chunk of change. So, and we're looking to find other revenue streams that help explore, new ways for us to be making money at KE, especially as food margins continue to diminish.
Yeah.
It's important that we're looking at, what's the holistic outlook for KE? How can we find new pockets of revenue?
Yeah. And so as a marketing organization, without giving away all the secrets of KE, can you say a little bit more on how you're not just a cost center as a marketing function?
Yeah, so like one big bucket would be our trade shows.
Okay.
And we have about 5,000 people that come to each of our 2 large shows, and
So you do twice a year.
twice a
Oh my
year.
gosh, that's like
And
planning
then-
a wedding. Well, actually, like 10 weddings.
Yeah, exactly. And we have about 800 suppliers that come and 1,000 retailers that come, and putting together a marketplace for 2 days allows us to generate dollars there as well as
Nice.
sales dollars. So we're both creating
Yeah.
other income as well as sales revenue.
Okay. And so the age-old sales and marketing always sometimes clash. How do you work with the sales team here?
Actually, there's not that clash.
That's good,
There's
yeah.
a lot of shared desire, a lot of shared interest, really common goals, a lot of alignment. Is everything perfect all the time? No, but I think we have a really great strategic plan that outlines
That helps
exactly.
with the shared goals, like you said. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, and so then as a marketing organization, we level up to the larger strategic plan so that we're aligned to it. So when my team is executing, they know that ultimately they're achieving the strategic plan by achieving the marketing
Yeah,
plan.
which is important because then they know what their purpose is and how they fit into the larger picture.
Right, and I think every employee wants to make an impact.
Totally,
So that
yeah.
accountability piece and
Tie into the larger
yeah,
strategy.
it creates a sense of engagement that otherwise might be missing.
Yeah, people want a purpose. They want to know that their work is meaningful. Yeah. So you mentioned a little bit about bad leadership. Do you have any horror stories along the way or things that you've definitely learned from and will not do?
Yeah, I would say one of the key learnings is about a leader that was a major diminisher. I felt like my arms were behind my back, and my job was to hide behind a curtain and just execute, just get the
Gosh,
job
yeah.
done. And I actually was really good at that. So, I didn't really realize how bad it was at the time until I was relieved of that.
And
And
you're like, "Oh, this is how it's supposed to be."
oh, okay, so I could be creative and we could
Yeah.
improve and we could have cross-functional collaboration and we can talk to people and understand a different
Yeah.
level. Um, that was eye-opening and that was a real game changer for me.
Was that early on in your career?
It was not early enough.
Okay. And so diminisher in that were they then taking credit for the work that you're doing behind
No,
the
not
curtain?
necessarily taking credit, but certainly not pushing me forward.
Okay.
And I feel like it's constantly the leader's job to hand the bouquet to the people that did the right work
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
make sure that they shine and make sure they get credit and make sure that leadership and executives see who's behind that curtain
Oh my gosh, yeah.
and
I'm
create.
always so proud to like parade my team and around and
Absolutely. They put
talk
in
about
all that
them.
work.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about a motivating factor.
Yeah.
You give someone a gift card because they do a good job, or you
Total a piece of paper, yeah.
put them in front of the CEO and say, "This is the one that did it."
Yeah.
That works so much better in terms of keeping people motivated. And really, it's that engagement again,
Yeah.
accountability, engagement, all those things rise to the top when you're able to say, someone else did it. Yeah. So a diminisher, what
That's a
it,
good example though, yeah. And it's interesting that you didn't know it until after.
I just felt like it was part of that company's culture. And so I just kind of stayed in the place I was given.
Yeah.
And now knowing what the other side of the coin is, I
You could
mean,
never go
I
back
can
now,
never go
yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
that's good.
watch out.